Hey everyone, tonight is the night. It is the book launch party for In the Shadow of Stalin, the graphic novel adaptation of my film Mr. Jones. The graphic novel itself took me 8 years. I'm going to be sharing the artwork from the book at tonight's event at the beautiful Ukrainian Institute of America. Terrell Starr will be there. He has just arrived home from Ukraine. I'm so excited to meet Gaslit Nation listeners. If you are a Patreon supporter, message me through Patreon. I'll add you to the guest list. There's still time. Do that soon. And you get a tote bag, a commemorative tote bag that Patreon made just for us for our book launch party. And it's also our chance to have a breather, have a glass of wine, have a glass of juice. It's a reception before this final push into election day. You may have seen the news out of ProPublica that at least two known women, died in the state of Georgia because of the abortion ban there. We are fighting against draconian laws, against authoritarianism, against Christian nationalists' attempt to turn us into white Iran, a white Taliban. That's where we are, America, and it's all being fueled by our foreign adversaries, namely Russia. So projects like In the Shadow of Stalin are so important for using entertainment, culture, the arts to help engage broader audiences to understand the historical context of how we got here. The Kremlin has long been weaponizing Western corruption against us, as my film and now the graphic novel In the Shadow of Stalin show. So it did not begin with Tim Pool. It did not begin with Benny Johnson. It did not begin with Donald Trump. The Kremlin has been at this for generations, and we can overcome it. We can create safeguards in our democracy by first and foremost forcing our government to enforce laws and pass new laws to protect us. More on that in future episodes, of course. And then tomorrow, we have on September 17th at 12 p.m. Eastern, we have a live taping with investigative journalist Stephanie Baker, the author of the new book, Punishing Putin, Inside the Global Economic War to Bring Down Russia. So if you have any questions about the sanctions, the weaponization of corruption, closing all the loopholes, what is the West doing? Why aren't they doing enough? Come to that live taping September 17th at 12 p.m. Eastern over Zoom. That is, of course, for Patreon supporters at the Truth Teller level or higher. Annual discounts available. And September 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern, we are celebrating with Leigh McGowan, Politics Girl, her new book, A Return to Common Sense, How to Fix America Before We Really Blow It. It is such an inspirational read. I'm excited to share that book with you and for you to meet Leigh. So come on over to that live taping September 18th at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then on September 24th at 12 p.m. Eastern, we have David Pepper, author of Saving Democracy, talking to us about his new art project on Project 2025. It's going to be a great conversation on resistance art and how we liberate Republican hostage states. Speaking of that, I'm going down to Florida, in Fort Myers, Florida, the last weekend of September for an action-packed weekend of events. There's going to be an opening the fact that I'm there to take on DeSantis, the Victor Orban of Florida, on Friday night, the last Friday of September. And then we're having a canvassing day on Saturday, and then a screening of Mr. Jones Saturday night, and then a phone bank party on Sunday. I will link to all these events. There's a lot happening because we don't have much time left. It's go time. We've been waiting for this for a while now to finally come together and defeat Trump and elect the first Black woman president so that my children and your children grow up thinking it's normal for a Black woman to be president for 8 straight years. Okay, we got to get her in for 8 straight years. And guess what? Tim Walz is young enough to do his own 8 straight years. So if we fight like hell, if we stay together, if we take this threat for what it is authoritarianism encroaching on our rights, and it's only going to accelerate. They even have a name for it, accelerationism, of smashing and grabbing and destroying our democracy and just turning us into a black hole of corruption, a point of no return. This is it. This is it. We are the wall. We are together the ones that are going to stop it. And to illustrate that point, I had finished cleaning my house on Sunday. I finished cleaning up after my damn kids, and I get a phone call, and I'm so tired. I just want to get in the shower and just zone out and stare at the wall. I get a phone call, and it's a volunteer for the Harris Walz campaign asking me to phone bank. I tell this lovely person, well, I have a couple of phone banks I'm actually organizing with Sister District and Indivisible, including the one we have this Thursday with Indivisible to call into Senate races. I'll link to that also in the show notes. This lovely volunteer calling for the Harris Walz campaign said, wait a minute, are you Andrea Chloop of Gaslit Nation? Oh my God, I listen to your podcast. And so this lovely human being making phone calls on a Sunday to get out the vote, she listens to Gaslit Nation along with you. That is the caliber of people who listen to this show. It's the ones who refuse to give up, who refuse to succumb to despair, who understand that activism is hope in action, and that it's going to take all of us to get us out of the many crises we're being hit with today, and that we cannot leave anyone behind. We cannot abandon each other, and that we're going to get through this all together. And so I had a lovely chat with her. She said that phone banking has gotten easier since the debate when Kamala destroyed Trump before the eyes of the world, and that the debate really did make a difference, and she hears it in the phone banks. So I wanted to share that all with you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, everyone who listens to the show, who supports the show on Patreon and makes it possible. If you're not a member of our Patreon community, where we have all sorts of events, including a VP debate watch party on October 1st in our victory chat. Make sure you sign up. Annual discounts available to you. And it's a lot of fun there. And it's really the wind in my wings that keeps the show going, sustains our work in this critical time. It's a crisis out there. It's a bloodbath for independent journalism, for even mainstream journalism is shrinking. There's been so many layoffs in the recent last few years alone. So your support makes such a huge difference to making Gaslit Nation possible. We could not make this show without you. Thank you, everyone, so much for all that you do. And look out for a new episode of Gaslit Nation tomorrow night.